Welcome to our latest Pictures by PC live CAD/CAM software presentation. Today we're going to be looking at the 3D machining of a typical freeform component. First of all, I'm just going to use the feature recognition tools to close off the circular holes here with surfaces. We've also got two open regions here that I'm going to close off with another surface, and this just stops the tool falling down into these regions if it's small enough. Okay. And then we're going to group together all of the geometry that we've created under a single name. This just aids in the selection of the geometry afterwards. So we'll create some stock material. The stock material is going to be the exact same size of the part. I've set this up to automatically load the clamping arrangements as well. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically just raise the top face of the stock material 2 millimeters upwards to give us a little bit more room to machine. And we're also going to group together the stock material and the fixtures under another name, simulation. Good. So we'll load the first operation. I'm using one of my predefined operations here. I've got 3D roughing or high performance cutting. Select the part and the stock material. We'll quickly just look at the operation. So I'm roughing with a 20mm end mill. I'm using trochoidal toolpaths for high performance cutting. The advantage being I can take a much deeper depth of cut. I'm combining this with smaller steps, so profile cuts, and we're also doing rough rest material machining with a smaller cylindrical tool. So we'll simulate that. So just a different simulation color very quickly, and we'll select the stock material and clamps. So we're going to see here the much deeper depth of cut with the trochoidal machining, and then it's going to work backwards with the small profiling steps. And then we've got the rest material machining with the smaller 4mm cylindrical tool. We're simulating this without the tool holder just to speed things up a little bit. Yeah. Okay, good. And then we'll turn the stock material off. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use a finishing operation called hybrid to machine the flat and steep areas of the part, so the plane faces and the 90 degrees vertical faces. So I can analyze the part here and automatically, for example, find the plane faces on the part. So it saves us time in the selection of the faces. We could do exactly the same to find the vertical faces here, but I'm going to do that interactively within the CAM operation. So we're going to load then the finishing operation for hybrid. Select the part, and we'll select the green faces. There's the recolored faces. So instantly we've got the 12 faces, and then what I wanted to do here was to show you that you can interactively also select individual faces, or I can use the feature recognition tools, for example here, to select tangentially chained surfaces. So you've got a number of different tools here to aid in the selection of surfaces with machining. Okay, and then remove the recoloring. So we're finishing this with the cylindrical tool, and on the flat faces it's using a pocketing finishing operation combined with a Z constant operation for the vertical faces. Good. So let's look at the inner region of this part. This is actually an enclosed region here. So we can see we've got a completely enclosed contour. So I could machine this area with a spiral tool path. So we're going to do that. I've got the outside contour. I'm just going to generate a few help contours, so guide contours, to control how the toolpath changes from one contour to the next. And in the middle, I'm just going to define how the last toolpath is going to look like with a curve. This could be here, in this case, a straight line or any sort of curve that we want. So we'll load the spiral operation, select the part. We've got the center contour, the outer contour, and then we've got the guide curves. Calculate the toolpaths. The advantage with the spiral machining is we haven't got any connection toolpaths on the surface. We're not constantly retracting from the job. It's staying on the surfaces, remaining on the surfaces with a spiral toolpath, and it's actually adjusting the toolpath step over related to the surface angle. So whether we've got a steep face or a flatter face. So basically we're machining the entire region, enclosed region, with one toolpath here. So here we can see we've started in the middle, working outwards. I'm just going to quickly jump to maybe a toolpath on the side here, and we can see that we're slowly going onto the vertical faces here to machine. Yeah, with a single toolpath. So the last finishing operation we'll use is for here. We've got a contour, so we'll load a contour operation. So we'll say, okay, 3D finishing right outside. Select the contour, and outside, it's working outside of the contour. We're just going to pick on the surfaces to machine. So I've got 6 surfaces here, and there we've got a contour orientated operation. So that's the last operation we're going to use for today. Obviously we've got more finishing operations such as axis parallel, Z constant, and numerous others. So we'll create the NC program. So I'm going to select a post processor. I'm just going to select one. I've translated a few machine controllers here. We've obviously got many more, but I'm going to just pick on a Siemens. So we've got then the NC program. So some start to finish, and then what we've also got is we've got the NC data sheet. It's a PDF, and it's going to show the part, the tooling, the operations, the machining time. And there we have it. So thank you very much for watching. If you've got any questions, please let us know. Thank you.